Welcome to the world-renowned Invest in Her podcast with your host, Catherine Gray. Catherine is a keynote and TEDx speaker, author, executive producer of the movie Show Her the Money, also CEO and founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. Our weekly show of powerhouse women, founders, funders, and changemakers is sure to inspire you. Let's go.
Welcome to this week's edition of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation and executive producer of the new movie, Show Her the Money. And if you haven't seen it yet, be sure to check out our website to see where it's going to be playing near you. It is showherthemoneymovie.com. Today, I have on an extraordinary guest because I love having on women who are founders of funds. We all know that this is an acceleration of what's happening in the venture capital world. There are more women founded funds now than ever, and these ladies are pioneers. So I'd like to welcome to the show the founder of the fund called VC 414. We're going to tell you why she named it that. Please welcome Jennifer Abele.
Hi,
Did I say it
Catherine.
right?
Yeah, Abele. Yes.
Okay, good.
Catherine, it's so great to see you. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. And I want to talk about how you got into venture capital. It's always interesting to hear because I always say all the women that have started funds right now are pioneers in this industry, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Really?
I do want to think of myself as a trailblazer, but the truth is that, many have come before me, and they were all an inspiration to me, but there's not enough of us. And so I figured, why not join the fun?
And when I say pioneer, it's because we've only been in this space like less than 20 years, and most people less than even 10 years, women in venture capital. So, yes, trailblazer is the perfect word for it. First, let's talk about VC 414. I know you invest in early stage. And where did that name come from? I know, but I'm going to let you tell the audience.
Yeah, so VC for venture capital and 414 is Milwaukee's area code. And Milwaukeeans really strongly identify with their area code. They celebrate 414 Day on April 14th. There's flags, there's
Oh my God, I love that.
branding around it. So, we wanted to put a stake in the ground and own our Great Lakes roots and name our firm after it.
I love that there are venture capital firms that are run by women in the Midwest. I feel like it's a really overlooked area. And yeah, tell us about how and why you're there.
Yeah, so I've been here for over 20 years. I came here for a job originally and had some family in Minnesota, made my way to Wisconsin. But I stayed because I love it. I love the values. I love the work ethic. I love everything about, the beauty of the landscape. We live close to Lake Michigan, and there's great industry and great job opportunities here. So we see lots of women building companies here in the Great Lakes region. And we travel around to all the major Great Lakes states and try to meet them and find those that are building real hidden gems. And we just, we're really bullish on this geography and on this kind of founder. So we're excited about it.
I love it. And what genres do you invest in?
Right. So our firm, we have a thesis around investing in what we call underdogs and outsiders. So that could be geographically or gender or racially diverse teams. And, we're investing in people first because we think that that's the most important indicator of success with a pre-seed startup. And our firm primarily invests in pre-seed startups. So people who are really just getting off the ground and getting their first customers. And, the founder is really a strong indicator of whether that company is going to be able to succeed. So we look at founder first, and then we invest across a theme. And our theme is really around what we call advancing people and advancing prosperity. And so we lean into some focus areas where my partner Raquel and I have lengthy work history and experience where we can add a lot of value. So the future of work, the future of education, the future of government and civics. Both of us were public leaders for many years, and health and
Yeah,
wellness.
and I want to capitalize on that you worked for 4 different mayors, right?
That's true. I worked for 4 different Milwaukee mayors, which might be a record
Yeah.
here in Milwaukee. But yeah, I have a master's in public policy. I really think city government is important. It touches the people the most of any of our levels of government, and that sort of lends itself to the thesis that we've built for our firm.
Right. And I see also you were CEO of a water facility there and also a leader in higher ed. So what a great, mix of a background that you bring to the table to help these entrepreneurs.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for saying that, Catherine. And it is a little unique. So it's sort of a public operator perspective that I bring to the table, along with being an angel investor, which we can talk a little bit about as well. And we find that the founders really like that because it helps us potentially helps them tap into a market that they may not have thought about. So maybe selling into government or selling into higher ed when they're currently selling B2B.
And so, here you were in really government and type of positions and university and so forth. And how did you make that transition into being an angel investor? Because I think a lot of women out there are probably in some other type of profession like you were, and then they want to make that crossover into investing in, either angel investing or venture capital investing. What made you move in that direction?
Yeah. So, it might not surprise you that public servants don't make a ton of money. So, so that didn't bring me into angel investing, but I learned a lot. I was always an innovator in government and always sort of known as an entrepreneur. So I was always trying to fix a program or advance a program or build a new program or something like that. So I kind of had like an entrepreneurial spirit within a large urban entity. And I was doing some sort of like miniature real estate investing, stock investing. I was a stock investment club. So I always had some investment interest also on the side. But, in 2019, I had actually a life-changing experience where I got remarried to a ultra high net worth individual. And at that time, I really had to take a deep look inside and think, what am I going to do with this? What impact can I make with this gift and this privilege that I've been given? And what I realized was that I could sort of combine my business experience, my entrepreneurial spirit, and my interest in investments, and help empower people to build something.
You know what? I love what you're saying right now. Thank you for sharing this story
You're
because
welcome.
a lot of people have this story, but don't necessarily think, well, how could I leverage this for the greater good? And that you took that opportunity to say, hey, I want to help women. I want to, I know they're underfunded. Let me find the underdogs. Let me help finance them with investment. And I love that you saw that as an opportunity to jump in and make a difference in this arena.
Right. Yeah, and I've always been inspired by that Toni Morrison quote. It goes something like, if you have some power, you should use it to empower others. And I really live by that. And I think it's really important. So whether it's philanthropy or whether it's giving back through investments or, donating your time, your treasure to a community organization, I think all of those things are really critical. But what was very inspiring to me was that I was actually mentoring a woman-led startup when I worked in the University of Wisconsin system. And this woman was building something very technical. It's a materials company. She does battery materials to make faster, stronger, lighter weight batteries, lithium ion batteries. And I was mentoring her because she had some regulatory challenges and she was trying to navigate getting grants from the federal government. Now, I worked in government for a long time and I've done all sorts of regulatory work. And so she turned to me as an advisor on that matter. And at some point in those discussions, I realized, I want to put some money behind this too. I want to help her, but I want to put some money behind this too. So it's sort of capital and how can you do both? And that's really how I look at investments.
And I remember meeting her at your event and being really impressed with her and what she's doing. And I do look at a woman like her and say, oh my God, they have such a game-changing idea. why aren't women getting funding for their ideas? So
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up. So tell me about some of the companies that you've invested in that you'd like to share with our audience.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll maybe kind of split it in two. So I've done some angel investing, and the way that I angel invest is a little different from the way that I venture invest through my firm because it's different decision-making processes. So I started as an angel investor, and like I said, I just found some women that were very inspiring. I've invested in a woman. So Conavate was the last company that I was talking about, the lithium-ion battery company. I invested in a woman-founded company that is building sort of like tools for nurses. So equipment, medical supplies and equipment that help nurses. So it's called Roddy Medical. I've invested in bamboo toilet paper, a wonderful company out of Minnesota called Bim Bamboo. Check them out on Amazon, Whole Foods, Target. So super excited about that space because I think, tree-free toilet paper is kind of the future.
And I love that you're investing in consumer product goods
Yeah,
because I think that category has the hardest time getting funding
yeah,
and
I
yet can
agree.
be tremendously profitable, tremendously impactful to the environment, like, this product that you're mentioning.
Yeah.
And people shouldn't overlook it. They're all always tech driven. And I know, with your fund, invest in tech and SaaS and so forth. But I'm glad that you step outside that box.
Yeah, and I've also invested in a women's steel-toed boot company called Xena Workwear. I love this company. It really resonated with me because I used to have steel-toed boots when I was the CEO of our regional water utility because sometimes I would have to go on site and it would be muddy and there would be construction equipment and so there's a lot of women who have to
I
go
met
from the
her. I
boat.
had her on my podcast. I love that lady. That's
Yeah, Anna Kraft. Yes.
awesome
So she's in
product. Yeah,
Michigan. She's in Michigan. So another, Great Lakes based founder. So I was an early angel investor in her company. So those are a couple examples on the angel side. Um, it's always great when you can see somebody's product on the shelf. So I love to go to my local Whole Foods and see Bim Bamboo on the shelf.
that's
Uh,
cool. That's it.
that's
That's
like one of the
cool.
most exciting things as an angel
Yes.
investor.
100%. And I understand with your Fund One that you all have about 17 portcos, which for the audience is their portfolio companies. I know people throw these words around that people don't understand, but portcos are your portfolio companies. And you have about 17 of them that you invested in with that fund?
That's right.
Yeah.
17, soon to be 18.
Oh, good,
Stay
good.
tuned.
Um, are you all still with the fund or personally investing right now?
Yes, we are. So I'm happy to say that we just closed commitments on our first fund. So our first fund is now closed. And we think we'll have about 22, 23 portfolio companies by the time we're done investing it. So we'll be investing out of this fund through the spring. And
How
then
much did you raise for this fund? I don't recall.
Well, I haven't announced that yet, and
Oh,
as much as
okay.
I'd like to share it today, this is not the time or place. But we are, happy with where it landed, and it gives us a really
Mhm.
good start for our first fund for a
Oh,
Midwest-based
fantastic.
women-led firm.
Absolutely. And we
Yeah,
need more of them. And thank goodness the momentum is picking up. But
yeah,
so grateful always to feature women founded funds. Definitely such a demand with us only
yeah.
getting 2%. But I do think that the numbers coming out in 26, 27 that will reflect on 24, 25 will show progress simply because of so many more women founded funds who are investing in women like VC 414. So, yeah, I think, you're definitely making history here.
Thank you for saying that. And, when I look at our investors, about a third of them are women. And
Great.
yeah, and that group, these are women who made that decision on their own and invested as an individual. We got a few couples as well, where the women are pretty involved, but we were really happy about that. And we did find that it was a different education process. A lot of women had not invested in a venture fund before. They maybe weren't familiar with the world of startups or tech. But they were excited about our vision and maybe had a personal connection to us or somebody who was close to us. So we're pretty happy with how that landed.
And you know, as well as all the fund managers, that the reason we created Show Her the Money and took it around the world and continue to do so is because the movie does educate women about what is venture capital and why would they want to be investing in it, because most have not been privy to learning about it, oddly enough, right? It hasn't been something that's been on their radar. And so we've definitely had at every screening a lot of epiphanies of women saying, oh, I guess I should be investing in this. Like this is, impacting the future, as well as it can be very lucrative. And really, what better combination than that, right? Um,
Right.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad to raise awareness. And I think once people, see the movie, they're so excited to learn about venture and how they actually could participate in it and how exciting and fascinating it is, right? Don't you just love your job? Like every day you're getting to meet brilliant women who are creating these amazing innovations. They always blow me away.
I do. I love it so much, and it is so inspiring. Every day we meet with somebody who it just blows my mind. How did they come up with this creative idea? We met with a woman this morning where I was honestly just awestruck with the fact that she came up with this amazing startup idea. And, that happens on a fairly regular basis. And I feel sad sometimes that we can't put money behind all of them. We have to make some really, really hard decisions. I love this work so much that I quit my job to do this work. I had a great safety net. I had a great public sector job. But I woke up one morning and I knew that this was my purpose.
And I'm
Uh,
so grateful for women like you, because we need these women-founded funds that are funding women. Obviously, we're at a tremendous disadvantage right now, and that only hurts the world at large, not to have these women's innovations that affect everyone, right? Um,
right.
VC 414, if people want to learn about it to, whether it's to invest in or to get funding from, what I think your target is for women creating tech and SaaS, right?
That's right. Right. So we're not currently accepting investment into the fund. Just unfortunately, just timing isn't right for that right
Maybe
now.
it'll be fun too. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So stay tuned on that. We are currently looking for investment into startup, looking pre-seed stage so that they're outside of the VC community.
Mhm.
And we're looking for companies, specifically, there's a couple areas we're really interested in right now. Wealth building tools. We're very government technology and civic technology, making it easier for people to access their government or for governments to be more efficient. That's a background that both my co-founder and I have, and we can add a lot of value there. And we're also really interested in like career-focused education or software, AI tools that affect the frontline worker. So that could be construction workers, hospitality workers, anybody on the front line. We think those areas are a little underinvested right now in comparison to some of the white collar software and AI tools. So we're really excited about that space and actively seeking founders building there.
I love that. Well, hopefully we have some listeners that can step up in that arena. They're all out there with these incredible innovations and they're always looking. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Appreciate you talking about VC 414. What's the website for the fund?
Our firm's website is vc414.com. And if you're interested in pitching us, there's a form right on there. And we take a look at every single one when it lands in our CRM. And we'll look out for anything that comes out of this podcast. And you can mention that Catherine Gray referred you. So,
Okay, great. Love that. Well, Jennifer, thanks so much for being on and sharing your story. And love that you've moved into this space and look forward to inspiring other women to move into this space, either as an investor or as a fund manager like yourself. Can people find you on LinkedIn? I take it.
yes, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just look for Jennifer Abele. And Catherine, I just have to say thanks so much for having me here. And for all you women out there, take a leap of faith on yourself. If you're an expert in something and you have an idea to build it, take a leap of faith on yourself. It's a hard step to take, but you never know what can happen. And you don't want to look back and think you missed out on something that you could have done.
Absolutely. That is super great advice. So you can look up Jennifer on LinkedIn. If you're just listening in and not watching, she spells it Abele is the last name. And of course, it was VC414. You can also find me, Catherine Gray, on LinkedIn, of course, Catherine with a C and Gray with an A. And you can visit our websites. Our movie site is showherthemoneymovie.com. And then my other website with a lot of resources is sheangelinvestors.com. So we welcome you to reach out to us. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in this week. Everybody make it a great week. And thank you, Jennifer, for being a great guest.